Okay, it's on. The Great Pyramid, also known as the Pillar of Enoch. The concavity of the pyramid has a solar year, sidereal year, and ominanistic year. It also has pi built into it. It is zero longitude and zero latitude. If you bore through the earth from the top of the pyramid, the opposite side is zero longitude watermark and zero latitude watermark. Only a pyramid has a head cornerstone, its apex. Jesus Christ is the head cornerstone is in Mark 12:10. Two stars intersect in the descending passage from the pyramid. It's 2141 BC, spring equinox. From there, 1 pyramid inch to year scale. Certain days come out of the junctions in the masonry. I didn't write this down, but I'll mention this. One star, the scored lines line up to Alcyone and the Pleiades. It is Taurus, the bull, and the neck. But it's actually the reed behind it. Dr. Scott thought it's the reed and drill. And the descending passage lines up to Alpha Draconis. Draconis, a Latin name for dragon, the double star. So two stars intersect. I learned from Dr. Scott's teaching on the pyramid that Jesus was born September 29, 2 BC. The coffer in the pyramid is the same size as the Ark of the Covenant, which symbolized God's presence. The 144,000 casing stones the pyramid had symbolizes the 144,000 sons of Israel in Revelation, which is a prophecy yet to come. Dr. Scott taught that there are 203 offerings associated with the Feast of Tabernacles. The pyramid has 203 courses in masonry. There are 153 steps in the Grand Gallery. The 153 fish is a parable of the church. Peter spoke in tongues at Pentecost, and they heard in 17 different languages. Dr. Scott taught if you add 1 through 17, it equals 153. I should also add here, Paul in the Hebrews letter wrote peace day, P-I-S-T-E-I. It's a verb, faith, F-A-I-T-H-E. Dr. Scott taught on the word faith and said they should have created a verb. He never gave an example, but I figured it out that feast day is actually faded exactly 17 times. The 7 tiers that opens up the Grand Gallery at the resurrection in the pyramid symbolizes the 7 churches in Revelation. How can the 7 churches be preached at the same time? Because part of Revelation 2:7 is repeated 6 other times in Revelation, which means what's said to one church is said to all 7 churches at the same time. The pyramid is prophesied in Isaiah 19:19. The letters of the Hebrew alphabet have a numerical value. The numerical value of Isaiah 19:19 in Hebrew is 5,449, and the height of the pyramid is 5,449 pyramid inches, which is not an accident. The Christ triangle in the pyramid is placed on the north face of the pyramid, and its hypotenuse extended just the crossing of the Red Sea, crossing of the Jordan River, and then Bethlehem, which is not an accident. To form the Christ triangle, one junction is the upper floor line of the lower chamber, and the junction of the lower floor line and the lower chamber, and how they connect to the ascending passage, forming a triangle. The other Messianic triangle dates Paul's ministry at 46 to 58 AD. Jesus Christ's birth date is the junction of the ascending passage and the lower floor line of the lower chamber. His resurrection is the junction of the upper floor line and the lower chamber and the ascending passage. Dr. Scott taught that the stones blown upward in the lower chamber symbolize the power of the resurrection. The bottom of the descending passage is October 31st, 1517, the start of the Sardis Church, which is when Martin Luther nailed his 95 Thesis to the door of Wittenberg. The end of the roof of the Grand Gallery, the date is the start of World War I, and the Sardis Church. I should also say starts in Philadelphia. The junction of the ascending and descending passages. The date is 1453 BC, which is Passover, the Exodus out of Egypt. Dr. Scott that if a line is drawn from the southeast corner of the pyramid to the northwest corner and extend over the earth, it will hit Stonehenge. Dr. Scott taught that six is the number of man in the prophecy of binding Hebrew slave. Adam was created on the sixth day. The pyramid is not a pyramid yet because it has six sides and speaks of Jesus Christ control over history. Before the flood, a religion of Enoch was God's message in the stars. I should mention, I mentioned this before, the Gemini twins in the zodiac. Judah's two sons to the hooker Tamar. Zara had the scarlet cord. I don't think he was chosen. I think the lion hooker Rahab had the right scarlet cord. I learned from Dr. Scott that when a pharaoh who knew not Joseph came to the throne, who was an exodus by sea of Israelites, the Zarahites conquered Spain, and some of them would go on to be Jason and the Argonauts. They were Israelites, they were people of the world. I don't think they were chosen, they were just Israelites. I should also mention Pisces. The house of Israel and the house of Judah, Pisces, they're knotted, tied together by Satan. It's in Ezekiel, Aholah and Aholibah, the two prostitutes. God divorces them when Jesus dies. So they're under Satan's control until Jesus returns. And Satan's captain to you, yes. I should also mention the centaur. I hope I wrote that in another book. The centaur, different looking creature. It's bottom half a horse, top half a man. It said Moses was the meekest of men. Dr. Scott, and I read about it too, that meekness has to do with the training of horses. Jesus as the Hebrew slave, the man part of the centaur, he's God, and the horse part as a trainable slave, as the Hebrew slave of his father. He was faithful to his father's words. So that's a picture of Jesus as the centaur. After this. Before the flood, a religion of Enoch was God's message in the stars. Dr. Scott taught of the mystery of the Sphinx. Its head is Virgo and back half of a lion is Leo. He said, start with Virgo and end with Leo. Virgo was the Virgin Mary, and the lion was the lion tribe of Judah, Jesus Christ. It's in the book Revelation that Jesus Christ is the lion of the tribe of Judah. Dr. Scott taught on the great step in the pyramid, where Daniel's prophecy of knowledge would be increased. The date of the great step is 1845. 1845, which is when scholars went down to Egypt and made discoveries about the pyramid, precise, and when the book of Enoch was discovered. Also about this time with the book of Jasher. Two important things in the book of Jasher. In Genesis, Jacob makes a vow, but he doesn't pay it in Genesis. In Jasher, he pays his vow to his son Levi. And in Genesis, he gives the right of the scepter to Judah, birthright to Joseph. In Jasher, in the added detail, he gives the right of the priesthood to his son Levi, to whom he pays his tithes to. Dr. Scott taught that the passageway is 286.1 inches to the left, and the coffer is 286.1 inches to the right. And if a capstone was placed on the pyramid, built from the four socket stones, the bottom of the capstone will overlap the existing pyramid, the top of the pyramid that is, by 8 times 286.1 pyramid inches, which is not an accident. Dr. Scott taught the descending passageway okay, this is a bit of a repetition, that's okay. Dr. Scott taught the descending passageway is 286 pyramid inches to the left, and the coffer, which is the same size as the Ark of the Covenant, which symbolized Jesus' incarnation, is 286 pyramid inches to the right. He also taught that if a pyramid was built from the four socket stones at the base of the pyramid, its capstone, the bottom of this capstone will overlap the top of the pyramid by 8 times 286.1 pyramid inches. He taught that 8 is a number of new beginnings. He taught that there are 203 offerings associated with priestly tabernacles. The pyramid has 203 courses of masonry, which is the Feast of Tabernacles in stones prophetically. The perimeter of the base of the pyramid in royal cubits is 1760, and divided by its height, 220 royal cubits equals 8. This number 8 of new beginnings relates to the upcoming 1,000 years of the national giving during tabernacles. For this giving, they will receive rain as blessing. It doesn't qualify as treasuring up treasures into the heaven. This giving, in exchange for Jesus Christ, the rain given would be like acts of phileo. Dr. Scott telling us this word phileo. Mutual exchange. I do for you, you do for me. I give, you give back. We also taught on the word agapao, translated love, which is used by God usually most of the time. Jesus used phileo in relationship to I philo you. In the Laodicea letter, he says, I like you. In other words, Dr. Scott taught that phileo is like, one translation. I should also mention this too, where it says, where usually it says the love of money is the root of all evil. It's the exchange. The exchange of silver is a root of all the evils. Cool. That's how I put it in my translation. 22/7 will relate to preachers teaching the Bible and the saints treasuring up treasures into the heavens by paying their teacher, which will lead to the Bema judgment, which relates to 22/7. The 22nd day of the 7th month, the last feast day, the last set time. Dr. Scott taught that the second half of the Feast of the Trumpets was cut and pasted to Revelation 4:1. I should add Jesus was born on the Feast of the Trumpets, and there was 2 silver trumpets blown all day long. Dr. Scott taught that silver announced redemption. So they were separated by time, cut and pasted the second half. 10 years ago, I was given to reveal that the last feast day, the 22nd day of the 7th month, would be the Bema judgment and would be cut and pasted to after a new heaven and a new earth. Paul said the Bema judgment will be for judging good from bad actions of the chosen. Dr. Scott corrected Paul and taught that the Bema judgment will be the grand rewards to start eternity. Bema judgment, ? Parable of rulership of 5 and 10 cities. Possible rulership / ownership of planets. Grand plan. Pyramid prophesied in Isaiah 19:19. Middle of Egypt. 1 pharaoh, middle of Egypt was pyramid. 2 pharaohs, one in each Egypt. Border for lower and upper Egypt was the pyramid. When 1 pharaoh ruled, 1 crown looked like a bowling pin was placed inside the other crown that looked like a bowling pin holder. Dr. Scott sorted out most truths from lies of the double scholars on the subject matter of the pyramid. For example, Dr. Scott taught that Colonel White committed fraud with his cartouche of Khufu / Cheops. Khufu is the Egyptian name, Cheops is his Greek name. The pyramid inch and sacred cubit is used in Noah's Ark, Tabernacle, and Solomon's Temple is based on the Earth's axis, meaning they were super smart to know this. It takes satellites to fly around the Earth to measure the axes. If I remember correctly, the pyramid inch is 1/500,000,000th division of the Earth's axis, and the sacred cubit is 25 pyramid inches. I remember from Dr. Scott teaching on the antechamber in the pyramid called the macrum. 2 measurements on the floor line of 20 royal cubits equals 25 sacred cubits exactly. I agree with most, you'll see this on the web too. Enoch was the architect. More than likely, very possible, they used the Egyptian royal cubit to actually build the pyramid, hiding the meaning of the sacred cubit, the pyramid inch, until it was in the last days it would be made known. exactly what the pyramid was about, the Prophetic monument. I'm going to end the video here.